The game at Wembley was just one of the most incredible events of my life. I think the scale of Wembley Stadium is such that when you walk in there, it's surreal. You don't actually understand what's taking place. And obviously the game itself is a bit of a blur. I obviously remember the fantastic goal, and I remember the nerve-jangling final minutes waiting for the whistle to go. But in all, just the most incredible day. Something, as soon as you reflect on it, fills you with joy and happiness. For the football club, to be promoted to the Barclays Premier League has been the greatest achievement in its history. For me personally, it's an absolute privilege to be leading the club at this period of its history. And again, anyone who loves sport can take nothing but enormous joy from putting a smile on the face of 500,000 people. I'm very fortunate because I got involved with this football club 2 years ago. I appointed Phil Brown as a manager. We formed a very effective partnership. And obviously we had a 3-year plan to get promoted to the Premier League. We achieved that in the first year. It tested a lot of our infrastructure. It obviously also tests your finances, your ability to recruit. Last summer we had to build a team to play championship football, and that got us promoted. And this year we had to take the roots of that team and build on it with added quality that could help us compete in the Premier League, the toughest league in world football. The fact that this is our first Premier League campaign means that we have the benefit of the TV rights money to help us fund the football club, but it does by definition mean that we're £500 million behind those clubs that have been in the Premier League for 10 years. So it's a difficult thing for us, and we have to do it carefully. The one thing that we've been caught short on was the question of having to predict how many replica shirts we would sell this season. The lead time on replica shirts is about 4 months. Last season, including the Wembley final, we sold 20,000 replica shirts, which is by far and away the most this club has ever sold by a considerable factor. This year we will sell something close to 40,000 replica shirts, but we're out of stock now till the end of the season. So lost opportunity maybe, but equally one of those growing pains that means we have to adjust to supply and demand as we go into a Premier League life. Normally when you run a business, the one thing you know is certain is your costs, and the variable is your income. In Premier League world, you're very fortunate because it's an upside-down business model, and the only known thing is your income, and the variable then, which you can influence, is your costs. Now, obviously, you have to legislate for a potential future in either the Premier League or the Championship. It does mean you have to run parallel business models. When you're in a Premier League world, you need to always have a contingency for what could happen should the unmentionable occur. Obviously, the fact that we are now in an unprecedented economic downturn and potentially entering a period of prolonged recession, you have to have an eye on what impact that will have on the football club's fortunes going forward. I don't believe that Premier League football clubs will have too much hardship in this period of time because such a percentage of their income is contracted. I think our responsibility is rather to look after the straitened circumstances that might affect our supporters, but the club's finances should hold up fairly robustly. When I came into the football club, the 3-year plan was very clear, which was get into the Premier League in 3 years. We achieved that in the first year, and now we have a very clear ambition, which is to stay in the Premier League this season and to become a permanent constituent of the Premier League in the short term. Beyond that, you can only be the best you can be. But the interesting thing about Premier League life for a club like ours is that over the last 5 years we've experienced 3 promotions, and now one of the things I hope is we never get promoted again.